Hey, great day, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. And so, as we come to almost a close of 2025, I wanted to specifically talk to the therapists who you are moving into 2026, of course, with a profitable business in mind. You also no longer want to be held hostage to only doing one on one therapy, whatever that might mean for you. And I also want to speak to the therapists who may have said something like, life has been lifing. I'm having a hard time focusing at this time in maybe one thing in my business, or I have poor time management skills. Even if we don't say it out loud, we are feeling it. Or my favorite that has come up the most is Dr. TK, girl, I am at capacity. And so if you feel like you've been maneuvering and low key fighting with a drag out fight in these streets in 2025 as it relates to success in your business and being able to have a life that you enjoy at the same time, this episode is definitely for you. Okay. And so what I want to talk about today is, as entrepreneurs, why do we make a conscious decision to run in circles, and what kind of impact does that have on our business? And so, of course, we know going through school for all these years and getting all these hours, we are very intelligent. You are very smart. It's not that you do not have a certain level of a skill set, especially to be a provider and to solve other people's problems. But when we start working on new things in business and we are trying to reach a goal, we may run into some holes, if we're running in the street, and or may run into a brick wall simply because we do not have any guidance and or we don't have a pathway for doing something more in an efficient manner. Okay. So when you think about goal setting, truth be told, let's take it back to school, right? Is that we didn't know what to expect, like in research methods or in stats, until we took it. Then when we took course number one, we were like, well, wait, we have to take course number two. But if it wasn't for a particular instructor breaking down something complex and making it simplified, a lot of us would have never done the research project, would have never, like myself, finished the dissertation, and or for master's level students, the thesis statement project. So what I'm getting at is having the right guidance help you finish in your designated timeline is very important as it relates to business, not just school. But sometimes, of course, when we're building a business, we run into personal life issues, current business issues, and then we're trying to maneuver through those two things, and then we're trying to add something new. So let me also bust a myth. The real problem is not when you're looking at scaling your business, which means that you are earning more while eventually, working less because you have systems and are people working for you in the background, is that we're not short of ideas. And the real problem is not that you like to try new things. I would say that someone who is able to execute at a very fast pace, for the most part, that is a very great trait as an entrepreneur, because you're willing to take the risk of trying something to actually see if it works, right? So trying new things is a good thing. And that's one of the things that I love about the clients that I work with that are all mental health providers, because we're curious and we are lifetime students and we're lifetime learners per se. But there is a missing piece though when we start moving fast with new ideas. And it's that without a clear plan and without guidance, it often becomes productive procrastination. Okay. So it feels like momentum. I have this new product idea, but I'm busy, right? I can't build it out. You are not moving the needle toward the finish line because, like I said, you are running in circles. And so this is what I typically see amongst mental health providers, and this is not an exhaustive list, who want to expand in any of the following: digital products like ebooks, courses, workshops, virtual or in person, coaching services, one-on-one that then maybe moves into a group later, maybe even live events like workshops online and or retreats for the clientele that they want to serve, and a lot of other type of one-to-many offers. And so the issue, as I've collected a lot of data from my clients, is rarely, I don't have any ideas. The issue is, what really we get to the nitty gritty with is that they lack structure, They don't have a protected, peaceful space to implement. And they also don't have a real timeline that actually forces execution. So think about it. When you're working remotely, when you're working at home, or even for some of us in a physical office, a location that we sublease, we own, or we rent, life is typically right there with you, whether it is on your phone because you can't turn off your notifications, whether it is in social media because you cannot put down your phone and stop doom scrolling, whether you're at home and your family is upstairs or downstairs, or your kids keep barging through the door acting like you're not working, right? We have emails that are hitting us left and right, and we not turn it off, the notifications when we do sessions. Like I said, your phone is there. The client needs something, the one that clearly you're serving, right? And then also other family members need something from you. Your team members need something from you. Your home needs you and needs something from you. And so while you are being pulled in all these different directions, and while you love your life, let's be real, that list that I just listed out for you is a lot, okay? So I want to share with you something that one of our mastermind clients shared with us at the beginning of this year. So I will never forget it. They put in a very simple way why it is important for them to get out their physical home and actually go to a live event. And so she said something to the effect of, I would prefer to go to a live event because it will help me get out of my way to execute. So she said, I need to create a space for myself as a business owner because when I'm at home or when I'm in my office, life just starts to happen, or my business current life takes over. I have a very hard time removing myself from the environment because it doesn't give me enough space to even think about the product that I want to launch and or expand. And I remember saying to myself, and I, had a smile on my face, and she was like, why are you smiling? Because we were on a Zoom call. And I said, because that, like in all caps, that is the point of coming in person. Is not just to learn new information, because I'm not talking the whole 2 days at a live event, for example, like our mastermind, for someone just to sit and be passive. When you get out of your home, when you get out of your comfort zone and you go to a live event. And I want you to think back to a high vibe event where you felt transformed and changed even within the first couple of hours of you being there. Maybe even just getting your ticket help people get transformed. And so you're not just removing distractions when you physically go to a location. You are also removing identity triggers. And so let's talk about that. At home, you might be in partner mode, wife mode, husband mode, mom mode, partner mode, all the things in between. At the office, you are in clinician mode, quality assurance mode, the billing specialist, provider mode. And then when you're trying to build, your CEO mode and stay on top of that, life starts to happen, right? So what we curate when we pull therapists in a room together for something called a VIP experience, also known as a mastermind, is that the CEO mode that is required of you has to show up in the room. Why? Because first of all, there are no distractions. We don't want you stepping outside doing a therapy session. Unless it's an emergency with your family, have a conversation with your family and your kids and say, hey, I'm at work until 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time if you're on the East Coast, right? But when you come to our events, think about it, whether you live local or you fly in and you get a hotel, it requires you to be quiet. It requires you to be present. It requires uninterrupted thinking time, okay? It requires creativity. And that creativity for a lot of therapists doesn't come from being online at a virtual event or trying to curate a little corner in your house to finally stop all the ruminating and intrusive thoughts about what you can and cannot do in your business. And then you feel very overwhelmed, right? So I don't want you to try to create a big transformation in the same environment that's causing chaos. Okay. So why this has worsened from my perspective, my personal opinion, in 2025 versus what it used to be. And so I want you to zoom out depending on when you've been in business. But I mean, all of us were around, when all of us were required to work remotely, right? Is that we started to adopt over the last 5 years what remote work meant for us. So for example, I'm currently recording this on the second level of my home with a ring light. This level doesn't get as much light as my bedroom upstairs. So while I don't like to take my laptop upstairs to my bedroom because that's my place of peace, sometimes, especially in this last year and a half, I have found, whether I'm home by myself or home with my family or just home with my kids, is that I will tend to go upstairs because the natural sunlight wakes me up and makes me feel more vibrant. What I'm also speaking to is I've beautified my home office, which is on the first floor. I live in a tri-level home, but it's become so beautified sterile because it's just become my therapist cave. And I'm tired of it. So I sometimes will go and work on the balcony, but I find when I need to highly execute in my business, I need to be in somebody's chair at a live event that's going to force me to do the work that I'm there to do in the room, right? So again, when we zoom out over the last few years, most people have worked, think about you remotely, you worked from home, you have stepped into entrepreneurship because maybe that was not a thing that you thought about or that you had before 2020, right? You built and expanded maybe even your business online. And so while yes, remote work can be a beautiful and to me, a luxurious thing because you have the luxury of time freedom, choice freedom, work freedom, and it can be flexible and it can be freeing. There's also some realities that I want to name for you that gets in the way of you actually building and expanding your business. And so many people who are doing what I call high level work, they're in a state of isolation. High level work would be mental health services, quality assurance, looking over charting, right? And what this tends to create over time when you isolate is less community, AKA you're not talking to people all the time. If you are talking to people, you're talking about, your work. You have fewer spontaneous conversations just about life. You have less collaboration because you're by yourself all the time, just on the computer, and you have less real live time, feedback time, right? So when you look at your level of loneliness and you think about all the other people in our field specifically that are working remote or they have a curated schedule where for the most part, our job is isolating as a mental health provider, even a clinical supervisor, because yes, while we are sitting in front of a client or a supervisee, at the end of the day, we still go to our office and we sit on the computer. And so when somebody is moved and then makes a choice to stay into a fully remote business or space, that level of freedom doesn't mean much when, things that you're doing in your business that relates to your life is not even enjoyable. Okay. So ultimately, what that client helped me see was that I need to keep curating spaces for mental health providers to come in the room and to be able to build out something in a very short period of time, 2 days, for example, that may have taken them honestly a year to not even finish. And so let's talk about this 48-hour effect that I've been doing for now at this point over 20 events in person, not just virtual events. That's a whole big other number. Okay. And so I want to speak to you because I want you to know why you should be in somebody's room or in our room. We have one room coming up in February in Los Angeles in the following year. Okay. So the 48-hour container. When you're in the room, something does shift. Number one, if you want to take notes, your brain will actually stop scanning for normal responsibilities. You're not waking up and walking past laundry. You're not hearing your team members in the background in your office or your clients talking. You're not looking at the same walls in your home or your home office and feeling exhausted or honestly burnt out. Number two, you get to sit with your thoughts. And again, this came from that conversation with that clinician. This is the part where therapists, I believe, don't talk about this enough. When you go back to your hotel room, which if you're local, I would suggest see if you can just do a one-nighter, come in the day of the event, spend the night at the location, and then go home after the event if you're local. That's something to look into, even if you can drive there, unless you want to take your time out to just be in traffic in LA and sit with your thoughts in your car, which I have done. Okay. But you got to create boundaries when you come home. And that's difficult. I know for myself, being a wife and being a mom. And so when you go back to your hotel room, you finally have quietness, peacefulness to actually process what just happened in the room beyond what you already processed with us. You get to talk about with yourself and journal, maybe even your fears around, well, what's the next level of the version of you that's waiting on you feels like, looks like. I know a lot of our clinicians who have come to our events on the second day, they come in as a whole nother person. And I'm like, fire me all the way up, right? But you can also take time in that peaceful space to really process what you've been avoiding, what you are ready to commit to as well. So, number 3, you also in the room get immediate feedback. Now, the way that I curate these spaces, when it's a VIP experience mastermind, it's not our 40-person event, our 60-person event. It is a curated space where we have had no more than 12, as little as 3. Okay. And so the less people, it's just the more time we have to process, talk, and build. But we've been able to do the same with 12 people. You just have to, show up and be ready to receive the help. Okay. So when you get that immediate feedback, we're not talking 6 months later. We're not talking about after you leave and your wheels are spinning. We're talking about right there in the moment. So you know who I'm talking to. If you feel like life is life and I need that container, to be honest, I just need to get in the room so I can finish the work, then let us be your lab. Okay. Because you can get it in the moment. Number 4 is you borrow the belief and momentum from the people in the room. Now, this is key, okay? This is why in-person does matter. So when you are around like-minded people, and for us, we curate a space specifically for mental health therapists, people who are building, launching, restructuring products or services, and they're executing in the room, and you hear from everybody in the room, your nervous system will realize in that moment, oh, what I'm going through, what I'm feeling, and what I'm about to do is normal, okay? And I can do this too. And so that's why our clients who have come to the VIP experiences see just like another level of massive results, specifically in a short period of time. Okay. And it's because it's not just learning. You're not just sitting there taking notes. I will call on you. I will not call at you. I will pull you into the conversation because I already know what your product is about, because that's the way that we structure you to walk into the room anyway. It is the building process, but you get it with support. So ultimately, I want to extend the invitation. We probably don't have that many invitations to give at this point, but I am speaking to you in current date, December 2025, mid-December, if you said any of the following. This year, my life has been lifing. I am at capacity. My time management is off. I cannot focus. I keep starting things and I don't finish them. I have ideas, but no plan, or I tried the plan and it is not working. I know I want more. I know I'm destined for more, but I just don't even know where to start. I don't know how to show up in the marketplace. I don't know how to structure my launch, right? So if any of this is you, I want you to know that you have a spot at the table, literally. I'm always welcoming for you to come in as long as you are ready to get that work in, right? Because at the end of the day, you just probably need a container, okay? So you might require our room. You may require a deadline, meaning when you're in there, you have deadlines actually in the 2 days to get something done in that moment, right? You may be there because you need a plan. You may be there because you're tired of doing everything by yourself and you want to feed off the energy and the expertise of not just myself, but also other people in the room. And ultimately, you want to build a community. You're tired of isolating and being by yourself, and you want other people to cheer you on and to pour back into you so that you can see the importance of, man, I got to execute because I have no excuses at this point. Okay. And so this is all exactly what our Los Angeles VIP experience is designed for. And like I said, it's a very intimate therapist mastermind. It's very less than a group of 10 people where we help you build out and structure the launch for your product or service that you want to pull into 2026. Now, I do want to be clear about the streams of income and just really focus on what it is not, and then I will tell you what it is. So we do not help you build out your group practice and or your solo private practice from scratch because you are building out an agency. That takes step by step. We do have programs for that. For private practice, we have Dope Therapist Academy. And then for a group practice, we actually have our elite coaching mastermind. So if those are two that you're interested in, you can simply either comment below if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can DM me at Dr. TK Psych and just say, hey, I'm interested in DTA, the private practice program, or I'm interested in actually building out a group practice. Can we chat? And we can chat right there, in the DM. Now, in terms of the live event, I'm going to list off some examples of streams of income that people have launched right there in the room, more in categories. Okay. So we have digital products such as memberships, digital memberships, ebooks, courses like mini courses or courses. Okay. We have one-on-one coaching programs. We have workshops, virtual or in person. Somebody launched an in-person retreat after we helped them launch they launched an overnight retreat after we talked to them about launching their regular retreat at an Airbnb. But we had people who launched virtual events. And then we also had a small amount of people who talked out a consulting offer, like how to position themselves to go out into the community and build out a specific offer. And so if you're listening to this and something is saying inside of you, you know what, I can't do 26 like I did 2025. I do not need this to be a repeat. I want to be better, bigger, or as a matter of fact, let me be honest with myself, I slipped up in 2025. I got too comfortable in 2025. I relied on just me, my knowledge and my energy in 2025. And I want you to trust your gut feeling. If your gut feeling is telling you, like maybe for a long time, as I've been talking about these events, like I need to be in the room. I kept saying next time. And you can tell I don't have the next time at the same time each year. Some years I don't have any events like this. Okay. And so the beauty part about entrepreneurship is that you do get to decide. You can decide how you want to structure your schedule and your streams of income. You can dictate what types of levels of income you want to attract in your business and possibilities that you want to have. You can dictate what freedom looks like for you and where and how you want to work. So the decision and execution is yours, but you have to dictate and call out exactly what you want. Okay. So if you want to join us at the Los Angeles Therapist VIP Experience for 2 days, it's going down February 3rd and 24th. I would highly recommend that you check out the description box on YouTube, and or if you're listening to the podcast, check out the show notes. If spots are still available, it will allow you to purchase a spot. If it takes you to a closed page, that means that either registration is closed because we're getting closer to the date, and or spots are gone, because I am very meticulous with the type of environment we are creating. If your gut is telling you this is where you need to be, we have pay now, pay later options when you check out. But sign up, save your spot, get ready to dominate in 2026. And if you are new here, my name is Dr. TK, clinical psychologist, therapist, business coach, and mentor. I am all about work-life integration and designing a life-first business so that you can adopt the both and mentality, not the either or mentality. I want you to have a life that you deserve, full of abundance, okay? And so if you love stuff like this, you definitely want to stick around, subscribe, like this video, and comment down what are your thoughts about going to a live event in 2026? I want to hear your thoughts, maybe even what events, what type of events would you like to be in the room for? But if you know you come into ours, go ahead and claim your spot. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.